Richard, the last time I spoke to you, we were here. Well, we were actually on top of the Avon Street car park, but not a lot seems to have happened since our last conversation. I'm just wondering how much COVID, your budget restraints, and I suppose we must bring in Brexit too. What effect that has had on your plans, your dream for these quayside developments?
Well, since we last met, the first thing that has happened is that the sewer works that have been taking place on the road next to Avon Street, we had to delay those over Christmas because we didn't want them to impact any more than they were at the time on the pre-Christmas shopping rush. And so we did defer those works, and they have started again now. But that's lost us 6 weeks, but we did it for the right reasons to try and protect the business economy in the city. So this project has had those kind of delays in it. The construction over the river is taking longer than expected because the supply of materials has been very patchy and disrupted. And that's to do with the pandemic and also with Brexit, because these things are inherent in the supply chain at the moment. So we've got those problems that we're having to wrestle with. It's also quite difficult to get tenders out of the construction sector at the moment, and costs are tending to rise quite sharply. So all of these factors just make it more and more difficult to do this kind of job.
Now, I know the council is pinning a fair bit of its financial hope on the office market. There's a to let sign on that block behind us. It was there the last time we met. It's still there.
Yeah, the good news in the office block behind us is that the top floor has been let, and we are going through the legal process to sign the lease with the new occupier. And when we've got that, we'll be able to announce who they are, the jobs that are coming there, and so on. We have got a lot of interest in the floors below that, and I think once we have the deal signed for the top floor, we will see other occupiers who are interested probably moving. So I think you're right. There is a lot of uncertainty and a certain lack of confidence in the office market at the moment, and like everywhere, it's taking longer to get deals across the line.
Well, the next big thing happening this side of the river, I suppose, is the multi-storey car park coming down.
Yes, that'll be in the summer. I can't be precise when, but it's probably going to be June or July. And then that sets in train a sequence of events. So the sequence is, first, the sewer work has to be completed. The multi-storey will come down in the summer. We will then remediate the land around the multi-storey up to the bridge behind us, and then we'll be moving towards the third quarter of this year. We will be able to lay this out for safe public access over the bridge, and by that time, the works over the river, the Newark works, that will have been completed. That's on target for the summer this year as well. So it all begins to come together in the second 6 months of this year.
You are not doing away completely with car parking here, are you? That's obviously an important revenue stream for you, even though certain people regard you all as car haters.
Well, I think the kind of car hating narrative is nonsense, really. I mean, the reality, as I've said many times, is there are too many vehicles travelling in Bath in too tight a space. But we are going to, we recognise the importance of this area as car parking for Southgate and the retail areas of the city. And once the multi-storey is down, there will be interim car parking there until Legal and General bring forward their scheme. And the planning approval currently for the site contains replacement car parking, although not at the same levels as we have now. So, car parking is figured in. The temporary car park over the other side has been opened. So we're confident that the overall capacity of the city for car parking will remain pretty constant.
You mentioned the new pedestrian bridge behind you, Richard, the one that I'm keen to see named the Newark Bridge in honour of the industrial site that it links to. Well, it's not industrial anymore, but it was once. A lot of people very anxious to enjoy that new facility. I suppose at the moment it's stuck in the middle of construction work, so it's what, health and safety really?
Well, I mean, the other side of the bridge at the entrance to it is an active construction site at the moment and will be till the summer. Once the renovation works to Newark Works are complete, we then have to lay out the public space in front of the buildings. So that'll be the next thing to happen, and that will create the connection, the safe public connection on that side. And then more or less at the same time, in parallel, the works on this side will also be done to create the safe connection. So unless something goes badly wrong, and we're not expecting anything to, this will be open this year, and that is the target. But I had hoped it would be open in the summer, but it's beginning to look as if the construction problems associated with this are going to make that slip. So I'm thinking that it's going to be towards the back end of this year. The one thing I have been told is we have to avoid the normal pre-Christmas rushes around November. So really the aim is to get it done before November. That's the kind of absolute backstop.
As an administration, you could certainly do with some positives this year, couldn't you? I mean, May 2023, you go to your electorate, and you may have ridden in on white chargers, but there's a real danger, I suppose, you could disappear on donkeys.
Well, I think the public will make up their mind what they want to happen between 2023 and 2027 next year, as you say. I think when we get to the election, what we'll be saying to the electorate is judge us on what we've done. And, you know, a major advance has been made in terms of cleaning up the air in Bath. We have not quite got to the stage where the clean air zone has achieved much better pollution levels across the city, but we're not far from it. And I reckon in a year we could be. So, you know, people forget these things, but the air in many parts of the city was filthy. We are going to introduce a HGV ban, or charge rather, associated with the clean air zone. The Cabinet has resolved to do that, and we are pressing on with the work that we have to do to get that to happen, and that will further clean up the air. And I think effectively stopping HGVs and dirty commercial vehicles coming into the city will be very popular because they are a real problem.
I'm going to change the subject, but still talking about Bath development. The rugby club, Bath Rugby Club, seem to have overcome their last obstacle, which stood in the way of them progressing with their redevelopment of the site. What do you think their prospects are now?
Well, there seem to be a lot of management changes going on at the club. Our expectation, from what they've told us, is that they will bring a planning application forward for the summer. We don't know its form yet. We are keeping in touch with them. We're answering questions that they have. Our planning team is talking to their planners, and we wait to see really what they bring forward. It clearly won't be the same type of development as the previous plans, and there is a stage before that because they have applied for permission for the temporary stands to be up, as you probably know. So I think probably it will all emerge this year where we're going on this, but we have to be led very much by what they aspire to do, really.
But are you keen to see them as partners in the continual development of this city?
Well, I think the key issue here is that the rugby club site is actually one of the most important sites in the city. It is more or less immediately opposite the Abbey. It's right next to the river. It's right in the centre of the city. So it would be very easy to have a ghastly development that doesn't work for anybody. And we have to, I think what together we have to pull off is a design that fits the location that the stadium is in. And that's going to be quite tough because the standard that we should be expecting for developments in the centre of Bath should be very high, and especially in that position. And I think that's the challenge they have. I'm sure it can be done with the right architects, the right design, but it is going to be quite a design challenge, I think.
We will look forward to their plans with excited anticipation. Richard, one final point. The hope is that the pandemic might soon be declassified. We maybe can start looking forward to the future both of business in this city, the traders, and of bringing back our tourist income. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think there's no doubt COVID is going to become endemic actually in the population, and there are going to be outbreaks probably for many years. I think there has been a lot of concern about the current variant, which it looks like is not being as serious as might have been expected. But there is so much we don't know about this virus that it's very, very hard to look into the future. I, for one, would be very pleased not to have to do any more meetings on Zoom. And it's very nice to get out and talk to you. But I just think we are going to have to live with this, and then we're going to have to pick ourselves up as we've done before and move forward. But I don't expect the local situation to be back to normal to 2025. I think there are still going to be ups and downs over the next few years.
So you're going to be managing a tight budget for some years to come?
Yes, we expect to come out of the current trough somewhere between 24 and 25. It's difficult to be certain, but the tourists are not here, are they? I mean, we had a very busy summer last year, but the tourists have not yet returned from abroad, and you can see why, because it's very difficult to travel internationally at the moment.